Yes, I'm here. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Gaia. How are you? Thank you for joining me this morning. This morning, yes, we are talking about grocery shopping. We're talking about grocery shopping this morning. Good morning, Andrea. How are you? Thank you for joining us this morning. This morning's focus, we're doing grocery shopping, level 4-5. So because nowadays going to the supermarket has become such a unique experience, a very new experience. Well, I love shopping too, Gaia, but this morning we're going to the supermarket. We're not going shopping for clothes and shoes and bags. We're going to the supermarket to buy food and things that we eat during the week. Do you go to the grocery store? Do you go to the supermarket, Gaia? Right now, I go to the supermarket maybe twice a week. I go to the supermarket twice a week. And I admit that nowadays, I don't enjoy going to the supermarket. I never actually enjoyed going to the supermarket, but now I enjoy it even less. The idea of waiting online with my gloves and my mask to go inside the supermarket is very discouraging. And also the fact that all of the aisles, all of the items in the supermarket are not for sale. We can't buy anything we want in the supermarket. We can only buy food. So if you decide maybe, oh, you know what, I need some, no, you can't get it. You can only buy food now. So that's what this morning's focus is about. We are going to the supermarket and we are going grocery shopping. One thing to remember is the difference between going shopping and doing the shopping. There are two ways to express it. As Gaia said, she loves shopping, and I like going shopping too. I like going shopping though in the city center, and I enjoy looking in the windows and maybe choosing a new dress or some new shoes, possibly a bag to go with the shoes. That's the shopping that I like. I don't like doing the shopping because doing the shopping means you are going to the supermarket. Good morning, Paula. How are you this morning? Thank you for joining us. Gaia, you don't go to the supermarket. I go to the supermarket. In fact, I go to the supermarket twice a week now. I go to the supermarket twice a week. I would like to go once a week, but it seems that every 4 days, every 3 or 4 days, I need to buy more food because we eat a lot of food in my house. So that's the difference between going shopping and doing the shopping. Going shopping is buying clothes, buying a bag, maybe buying a new electronic device. And going shopping is something that possibly you enjoy doing in your free time. Whereas doing the shopping is when you go to the supermarket and you buy food, not because you like it, because we all need to eat. So in this morning's focus activity 4-5, we are talking about grocery shopping, going to the supermarket. And we're going to be reviewing countable and uncountable nouns, quantifiers, and using get. Now, for anyone who has experience with the fantastic word get, we know that you can use get with almost anything in the English language. It is a fantastic, fantastic word because when you use get with another word, it suddenly takes on a whole new meaning. And it's a magic word. And sometimes it's a little confusing to understand when to use get and how to use get and how it changes the meaning once you have it together with another word. And sometimes it is difficult for people learning English as a second language. But it's wonderful in the sense that you can do almost anything with get. It's when in doubt, use get. And you will be reviewing countable and uncountable nouns. We know that when we talk about countable, the question is how many? How many are there? There are 5. How many is there? There is 1. Uncountable, how much? So we don't give a specific number with uncountable, but we give a quantity or a mass. There is a little bit, there is a lot. And that's uncountable. And so we'll be reviewing countable and uncountable nouns, which nouns you can count and which nouns you can't count. All right, let's get started. Grocery shopping. Now, Gaia already said that she never goes to the supermarket. Andrea, do you go to the supermarket? And if you do go to the supermarket, how often do you go? Oh, so Gaia, you don't go to the supermarket, but you love the supermarket. Oh, that's nice. I actually prefer the smaller markets. The very, very big supermarkets are overwhelming for me. And we know that nowadays people can do a lot of their grocery shopping online so that the supermarket brings the food to you. So you can either call them or message them and leave them your shopping list, and they will bring the groceries to your house, which is a fantastic concept. I actually prefer, if I have to do the shopping, I prefer going myself to the supermarket. So, how many of you go to the supermarket? And if you do, how often do you go? As I said, I do the shopping about twice a week. And I try to avoid going to the supermarket at the weekend because right now the line is longer at the weekend, and the supermarket runs out of items more quickly at the weekend. Very good. Grocery shopping is fare la spesa. Thank you, Gaia. So when you go grocery shopping, when you do the shopping, you buy food. Thank you, Andrea. Andrea says that he goes to the supermarket every 10 days. In fact, he's doing the shopping today in the afternoon. All right. Do you have a favorite supermarket? Because there are several different types of supermarkets. I actually shop wherever I can. I don't have a favorite supermarket. It depends on where I'm working. When I was working, it depends on where I am at the moment, and I will stop at any supermarket that's in the area before I go home. But now that we're all at home, I go to the supermarket closest to my house. So if you go to the grocery store, which one do you go to and how often do you go? Andrea says that he goes once every 10 days. And in fact, he's going this afternoon. Okay, Andrea, do you like doing the shopping? If you don't like it now, did you like it before? Okay, Gaia, your favorite supermarket is Esselunga. Is that the very big one? The very big one at the traffic circle? That's a gigantic supermarket. I have never been inside. It's too big. It's too big for me. It's very, very big. And we're going to go over these 3 questions together. Do you do the food shopping? Andrea does. And he goes once every 10 days. And maybe you can tell us also, Andrea, okay, thank you. He usually likes doing the shopping, but not in this period. I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. I wasn't a fan of doing the shopping before. I did it And sometimes I enjoyed it, sometimes not. But now I dread going to the supermarket. I don't enjoy it at all. So I completely understand. And which do you prefer? Big supermarkets, small grocery stores, or outdoor markets? So even though most of us are used to going to supermarkets, the enclosed supermarkets where you go inside and all the items are inside in the aisles, do you enjoy the big supermarkets? Gaia says yes. She loves supermarkets. And her favorite supermarket is Esselunga, the gigantic Esselunga at the traffic circle. I prefer smaller grocery stores. And if I'm doing the shopping and I enjoy it, then I actually like outdoor markets. So if I'm buying my fresh produce, my fruits or vegetables, then I prefer outdoor markets above everything else. And then I'll go to smaller grocery stores to buy other things like meat or poultry or chicken or fish, things like that. But fruits and vegetables, as we can see in the image here, I prefer buying my fruits and vegetables at outdoor markets. Okay. And what do you buy most often? So when we do the shopping, usually there are items that we buy every single time we go to the supermarket. And then there are other items that maybe we'll buy once in a while. For example, we don't eat very much meat at my house, so maybe once a week I'll buy some meat. But every time I go to the supermarket and I do the shopping, I buy milk and I buy pasta. These are things that I buy every time I go to the supermarket. So what do you buy most often? Do you buy more vegetables? Good morning, Leo. It's okay. We're still talking about going to the supermarket and doing the shopping. And good morning, Elena. Thank you for joining us. We're talking about going to the supermarket and doing the shopping. As we remember, the difference between doing the shopping, going to the supermarket, and going shopping for clothes and things that you do in your free time. Okay, let's move on to the next slide in our focus. What do you need to buy at the supermarket? Make a shopping list. Are the items on your list countable or uncountable? Now, here we have a list of items, and we want to decide if these items are countable or uncountable. But after we go through the items on this list, we're going to make a list of our own. So think about things while we're deciding which nouns are countable and uncountable. I also want you to think about the things that you put on your personal shopping list, because everyone's shopping list is different. Okay. I thank you, Andrea. Andrea says that he buys mostly vegetables, fish, and pasta. Very good. So it sounds like you have a very healthy diet, which is a good thing, because sometimes we'll see people in the supermarket who have their trolleys filled with cookies and chips and soda and frozen foods. And we realize that maybe that's not the best way to eat. And Gaia loves jam. I love jam too. In fact, in the morning, I put jam on my toast. All right, let's go through our list on the screen. Is it countable or uncountable? For example, salt is uncountable. You cannot count grains of salt. You can, but it's not very practical. Let's go through the other items. As we go through the items, please write the noun and C or U. So, for example, you would write salt and U for uncountable. For pepper, is pepper countable or uncountable? Can you count grains of pepper? Should you count grains of pepper? Why would you count grains of pepper? We know that salt is uncountable for the same reason. So, in your opinion, is pepper countable or uncountable? Because if we ask how much salt do you need? How much salt should I use in the recipe? In the recipe, we're given a quantity based on what? Oh, and Eric is here. Good morning, Eric. Thank you for joining us. Thank you very much. Leo. Hi, Leo. Leo says that pepper is uncountable. If we have items that are uncountable, what makes them countable? We said we cannot count grains of salt. We cannot count grains of pepper. So, but if we need to count pepper or salt, how do we do it? What makes it countable? What makes it countable? I'll give you a hint. If you are reading through a recipe and it says, please add salt. In English or American recipes, salt is measured by a spoon. So we can use a teaspoon of salt or a half teaspoon of salt. And that's how we measure it. We do a quarter of a teaspoon, a half a teaspoon, a whole teaspoon, or a tablespoon. They're actually measuring spoons that you buy. So when a recipe calls for a certain amount or quantity of salt, that's the quantity you use. What about peach? Peach is a fruit. A pinch, very good, a pinch of salt. Often the recipes will call for just a pinch. It means whatever salt you can fit between your fingers, that's the salt you put in the recipe. Peaches are countable. Thank you, Leo. Peaches are countable. So the question for peaches, how many peaches do you want? How many peaches would you like? I'd like 4 peaches. I'd like 5 peaches. What about broccoli? This doesn't seem very obvious. Broccoli is countable. Broccoli is uncountable. Broccoli. What is broccoli? Broccoli is uncountable. Why? Peaches are countable. Thank you very much, Eric. We said that peaches are countable, but broccoli is uncountable. If I want to count broccoli, how do I count it? How do I count broccoli? You count broccoli the same way you count cauliflower, the same way you count salad or lettuce. It's usually a head. It's called a head. A head of lettuce, a head of cauliflower, and I believe it's also a head of broccoli. Yes. So you can buy broccoli by weight, grams, or you can buy broccoli by a head. Eggplant or aubergine. Do we know what eggplants are? Eggplants are those purple vegetables. Some say it's a fruit, some say it's a vegetable, but they're purple and they're long and round. Okay, Gaia and Leo, when we put down U or C, we also need the noun because otherwise I don't know which one you mean. We're up to eggplant and aubergine. Eggplant is like peach. Eggplant is like peach, so it is countable. How many eggplants? Very good, Gaia. Eggplants are melanzana. Melanzana, eggplant. In the US, we say eggplant. In the UK, they say aubergine. And eggplants are purple and they are countable. Okay, so we've decided that salt, pepper, and broccoli are uncountable. So the question is how much? Peach and eggplant are countable. Very good, Leo. Thank you for the image there. For those of us who didn't quite understand what an eggplant is. What about chicken? Is chicken countable or uncountable? Now remember, we're not talking about the animal, we're talking about the meat. We're talking about the meat. Chicken is countable. Okay, does everybody agree with Eric? Chicken is countable. Well, chicken is countable if you are a farmer. If you have a farm and you have pigs and cows and chickens, then chickens are countable. But if you are eating chicken, thank you, Andrea. Andrea says chicken is uncountable. Why is chicken uncountable? Because once you put chicken on a plate to eat, the chicken becomes uncountable. And you measure it either by weight, for example, 200 grams of chicken, 300 grams of chicken, or you can count it by piece. If you cook a whole chicken and you cut up the pieces, then it's a piece of chicken, a slice of chicken. So if chicken is for food, it's uncountable. If you have a chicken on a farm, then it is countable. Okay, let's go on to lemon. Lemon. So we're in agreement now. Thank you, Leo. Thank you, Gaia. Chicken is uncountable, but lemon? Is lemon countable or uncountable? Thank you very much, Eric. Lemon is countable. One hint is that if you can add an S, thank you, Gaia, if you can add an S, then it is countable. For example, peaches, eggplants, lemons. Thank you, Paula. Thank you, Leah. Thank you, Gaia. They are all countable. But you don't say salts. You don't say broccolis. You don't say, well, you do say chickens, but only if we're talking about an animal. Okay, let's go on to the next one, jam. We all remember that Gaia likes jam, and I eat jam on my toast in the morning. Strawberry jam. Is jam countable or uncountable? So we've seen that for our countable nouns, if we add an S, that makes it plural. For our uncountable, we cannot add an S. Jam is uncountable. Thank you, Eric, and thank you, Gaia. Jam is uncountable. If we want to count jam, how do we count jam? We have a pinch of salt, a teaspoon of pepper, a head of broccoli, a piece of chicken, but jam? If we want to count jam, how do we do it? How do we count jam? 2 jars of jam. Thank you very much, Andrea. So if we want to count jam, we have to put it in a container, a jar of jam, a bowl of jam, a teaspoon of jam. So we have to put the jam in something in order to make it countable. Thank you very much, Andrea. Yogurt. Is yogurt countable or uncountable? That's what I need from the supermarket. I need to buy some yogurt. I haven't bought yogurt in a while, and I enjoy having yogurt for breakfast too. I enjoy having yogurt with cereal, and I enjoy having toast with jam. So that's what I like having for breakfast. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Gaia, Eric, and Paula, yogurt is uncountable. And just like jam, if we want to count yogurt, we put it in a container. A container of yogurt, a jar of yogurt, a spoon of yogurt. Onion, onion. Countable. Onions are countable. Thank you, Eric. As we said before, if we have a countable noun, we know it's countable because we can add an S, like peaches, eggplants, lemons, and onions. If we have a countable noun, we can add an S to make it plural. Whereas if it's uncountable, we cannot add an S. We need to put it in a container first before we can count it. For example, a pinch of salt or 2 pinches of salt. Thank you very much, everyone. Onion is countable. Once we have an uncountable noun and we want to count it somehow, we said we have to put it in a container. So we can have a pinch of salt, a shaker of pepper, a head of broccoli. But then in that case, what? You don't like onion? Well, you know what? I like red onions, Gaia. I don't like the white ones very much. I like red onions. In order to make it plural, however, the container becomes plural. For example, we noticed before when Andrea said 2 jars of jam, it's not 2 jars of jams, it's 2 jars of jam. And the container becomes plural. 2 pinches of salt, not 2 pinches of salts, 2 pinches because the container becomes plural. Okay, let's go on to the next slide. Oh, notice the questions here to the side. We have an uncountable question. How much salt have you got? I haven't got any. Then we have the countable question. How many lemons have you got? I've got 3. Keep in mind that if the answer is negative, we use any. If it's positive, then we use some. We're going to see examples of that later on. Okay, I've got some. Use some in positive sentences. And notice here off to the side, we have a wonderful, wonderful image of pancakes. Pancakes are a common American breakfast. They eat pancakes all over the world, honestly. But let's say in the US, we eat it not every day, but at the weekend. At the weekend, we eat pancakes because they take a little bit of time to cook. So usually people aren't going to make pancakes every morning, but they may take the time to make pancakes at the weekend. What's already in your cupboards? What are cupboards? Cupboards are where we keep the food in our kitchen. Dried goods. Fresh food goes in the fridge. Dried goods like flour, rice, pasta, salt, pepper. These things go in your cupboard. What's already in your cupboards? Now, I want everyone to think about what you have in your cupboard, in your kitchen, at your house. And you're going to tell me at least one positive. No, you're going to tell me a few positives. We're not doing negative yet. Use some pancakes with maple syrup. I know I love pancakes, Andrea. Very hungry. I didn't have breakfast this morning. Use some in positive sentences. What's already in your cupboards? I've got some eggs, some oil, some flour, and some sugar. Let's make pancakes. Think about what you have got in your cupboards. For example, I've got canned tomatoes, I've got salt, I've got pepper. Let's make some tomato soup. You like pancakes too, Gaia? So do I. I've got some and some. Let's make. If we can, consider what we have in our cupboards, what we have got in our cupboards, and what we can make. If you can't come up with a recipe, that's okay. Just tell me what you've got in your cupboard. As you come up with your positive sentences, just put them down in the conversation box on the right so we can all see what you have got in your cupboards. For example, in my cupboards, I've got rice, I've got beans, I've got black beans, actually. I love black beans. In my cupboard, I've also got some sugar, and I've got some sugar, and I've got some flour. Let's make a cake. What have you got in your cupboards? Would anyone like to tell us what they've got in their cupboards? Since we're all home every single day, I'm sure. How many times do you go into the kitchen? Take a look around, see what there is to eat, and maybe decide, oh my goodness, there's nothing to eat. There's nothing to eat at all. In my cupboards, I've got some tuna, and I've got bread. In my fridge, I've got a tomato. Let's make a tuna salad sandwich. What have you got in your cupboards? While you're thinking about what you've got in your cupboards, we can go on to the next slide. Now, we saw that with positive sentences, we use some. I've got some, let's make. Thank you, Eric. Thank you very much. Today, I will make some bread, cookies, dumplings, pancakes. Tomorrow, I will make a cake. Oh, that's fantastic, Eric. But what have you got in your cupboard to make all of this stuff? If you're going to make some bread today, then what have you got in your cupboard? And you're going to make dumplings too. I love dumplings. I wish I knew how to make dumplings. That's one thing I would love to learn how to make. I'd love to learn how to make dumplings. So we see that we use some with positive sentences. Have you got any? Yes, I've got some. But if it's negative, thank you, Andrea. Thank you for sharing. I've got some flour, some tomato sauce, and capers. I'll prepare a pizza. Fantastic. In fact, I made pizza on Saturday. Oh my goodness. It's such a big job until you have to make the pizza dough, and then it rises, and then you knead it out again, and then you make the pizzas. I was making pizza until 11 o'clock at night. Plus my boys, they eat so much. I was making pizza all night long. So we were saying before that we use some with positive sentences. Oh, you're in the kitchen all day eating. I don't eat all day, but I am hungry all day. In fact, after I finish this lesson, I think I'm going to get something to eat because I am very hungry. So we use some with positive sentences, and we use haven't got any with negatives. So any we hear in the question, have you got any? And the negative, no, I haven't got any. Or in the positive, I've got some. Have you got any chocolate? Have you got any eggs? I want to bake cookies, but I haven't got any flour. So now we want to think about what you haven't got in your cupboard. What do you need and you don't have? So we can't break up into partners, but you can ask me, think about things that are on your shopping list, think about things that are in your cupboard, and ask me the question, have you got any? As you come up with your questions, just put them in the conversation box so that I can answer. Are you hungry too, Leo? And Gaia is hungry as well. I know it's already 11:30. Well, I've been up for a while so far. So yes, I'm ready for lunch. Thank you very much, Andrea. And thank you, Eric. Thank you for sharing. Eric says, I have some flour, eggs, cream, meat, and jam, sugar, and butter. No, butter, Eric. I have got some butter. But Andrea gives us an example of a negative. I can't prepare any pizza because I haven't got any yeast. Notice here he has used any 2 times. I can't prepare any pizza because I haven't got any yeast. Excellent. Good job. Have you got any sugar in your cupboard? Have you got any sugar in your cupboard? I've got some sugar. I just bought sugar the other day. I did. Because I was actually thinking about making cookies and then I changed my mind. Now, excuse me, now we're getting into our quantifiers. Butter, very good. Burro is butter. Thank you, Eric. We use some for positive. We use any for question and negative. But if you have some, a little bit, but not enough. For example, the recipe says you need 2 eggs, but you only have 1. Said, well, I've got 1 egg, but I haven't got enough eggs. I haven't got enough. Use enough with countable and uncountable nouns. So you can use enough with countable and uncountable. Doesn't make a difference. Have you get any chocolate? Yes, I've got some, but not enough. Here's an example of an uncountable noun. Chocolate is uncountable. In order to make chocolate countable, we need a container, if it's chocolate powder, or we need a piece, a chocolate bar, a piece of chocolate. Thank you, Paula. Paula says, I have some sugar and eggs. Have we got enough bread to make some sandwiches? We've got some bread, but we haven't got enough. So we said that some is for positive, any is for negative and questions, and enough is for countable and uncountable, to express that you have a little bit, but you don't have enough to make the recipe. You can also use enough with money. I've got some money, but not enough to go out. I've got some money, but not enough to take a vacation. What are you going to make? Do you have enough to make it? How much? How many do you need? So take a minute now and think about something that you want to make. It could be something you want to make for lunch, something you want to make later on in the afternoon for snack. What do you need to make it? And do you have all the ingredients? To get, I have some sugar and some eggs. Gaia says, I have some cream and sugar. Well, how much cream do you have, Gaia? And how much sugar do you have? Do you have enough to make some coffee? Because I drink my coffee sometimes with cream. I always put half a teaspoon of sugar, but I don't always use cream. Sometimes yes, but other times no. Let's take a look at our next slide, which says get is the same as buy. Get is the same as to buy, because we can use get for example, I have to go to the supermarket to get some milk and eggs. It doesn't mean I'm going to break into the supermarket and steal the milk and steal the eggs and not pay. No, it means I'm going to take these items and pay for them at the cashier. So get means to buy. The verb get can be used to talk about what you want to buy. I have to go to the supermarket because I need to get some fruit. Do you need to buy anything at the supermarket? Yes, I need to buy some eggs, some cheese, and some bread. Do you need to get anything at the supermarket? Yes, I need to get some eggs, some cheese, and some bread. So we see two examples here of how we can interchange get or exchange and use get for buy. I'm going to get biscuits. Leah, gonna get. We say it, but it's not really correct. I'm going to get some biscuits. Why? Because biscuits you have as plural. Are you just going to get one biscuit? Going to get one now? Oh, then I'm going to get a biscuit because you're hungry. Get is the same as to buy. The word get is use the word get to talk about what you need to buy at the supermarket. For example, I'm going to the supermarket. Do you want me to you anything? Here we can use get or buy. I'm going to the supermarket. Do you want me to buy you anything? I'm going to the supermarket. Do you want me to get you anything? Because we saw in the previous slide that get is the same as buy. Yes, I have many eggs. I have many eggs, a lot of flour, but not enough butter. Very, very good, Eric. Thank you. So I have many eggs, or I have a lot of eggs. I have a lot of flour, but not enough butter. So if we want to show that we have a lot of something, an excessive amount, then we say a lot. More than necessary is a lot. What do you need to get at the supermarket? So now all of us need to answer the question, what do you need to get at the supermarket? And you're going to write it this way. That's okay, Leo. You didn't want to write in plural. I'm going to get a biscuit. You only got one. Now, Leo, we're going to answer the question, what do you need to get at the supermarket? So write down the question. I'm going to the supermarket. Do you want me to get you anything? Yes, I need to get some and I will go to the supermarket to get what I am missing. Very good. Can you be a little bit more specific, Andrea? Can you tell us what you need to get at the supermarket? What you need to get at the supermarket. What do you need? What do you mean, Eric and Gaia? Need. What do you need to get at the supermarket? For example, I'm not going to the supermarket today. I'll probably go tomorrow. And I need to get some more pasta because the pasta is almost finished. I also need to get jam because I love to put jam on my toast in the morning. And I think I'm going to get some yogurt because I want to have yogurt for breakfast. All right. So as you go through the shopping list, either from the other page or thinking about things that you need, tell me what you need to get from the supermarket. All right. Now, Gaia asked if we were going shopping today. And I said, well, this focus is going to concentrate or focus on doing the shopping. Doing the shopping is when you go to the supermarket because you need to buy food. But we said also that there are other kinds of shopping. What other kinds of shopping are there? You can go shopping for clothes. You can go shopping for shoes. You can go shopping for a holiday package because you're thinking about taking a holiday. Oh, thank you very much, Eric. Eric says that yesterday his mom bought, your mom did the shopping online. So she bought food for the family online. It's very, very practical nowadays. This way you don't even have to leave your house. You can just buy everything online. Thank you, Andrea. Andrea says, I need to get some fish, vegetables, lemons, and cheese. Thank you very much. So these are things that Andrea needs to get when he goes to the supermarket. What are other kinds of shopping? You're going to get your best friend for his or her birthday. So, because there are other kinds of shopping, we can also use the word get to talk about other types of shopping. And here we have an example. What are you going to get your best friend for his birthday or for her birthday? I have a better question for you. As soon as we are finished with this quarantine and they let us go shopping, what do you want to get from the store? You're going to get a good present for your friend. Thank you very much, Leo. As soon as they lift the quarantine, I am going to get a new computer because I realize now how much I need another computer. And my children do too. I was putting it off and putting it off. I wanted to buy another computer. Actually, I did. And I was considering buying a computer a few weeks ago. And right before the quarantine set in, I went to the shop, the electronic shop, and I was looking at different computers because I actually bought myself some earbuds. And I was looking at the computers and I said, I need to get a new computer. And I said, I have time. Maybe I'll get one next month. Well, tomorrow is next month and we are in quarantine. So I am not going to get a new computer now. I'm actually thinking about getting a new computer online. I'm thinking about that too. Leo and Gaia and Eric. We already know that Leo's going to get a good present for his friend. Okay, but we're talking about other kinds of shopping now. What are you going to get? I said that as soon as I go shopping again, I'm going to get myself a new computer. Here are some examples of things we can get for our friend or our best friends when we buy a present. We can get earrings. We can get perfume. We can get coffee, a coffee machine, not several, or we can get concert tickets. That's a very nice present if we're going to get presents. And Leo is also going to get himself a new game. What kind of game, Leo? Are you going to get yourself a new video game? If you're going to get yourself a new video game, Leo, which video game are you going to get? So the first question is, what are you going to get for your best friend? And there are some examples. And then I asked you, as soon as you go shopping again, the next time we're out and we're going shopping, what are you going to get? And Leo said he's going to get himself a new game. I said, I'm going to get a new computer. What about you? What are you going to get the next time you go shopping? The next time they let us out to go shopping, what are you going to get? I know, once they let us out to go shopping again, I would think I want to get a lot of things because I haven't been shopping in a while. I like to go shopping. I usually go shopping maybe twice a month. I walk around the shops. I see if there's something I want to get. I don't always buy something, but I enjoy looking around to see if there's something that I want to buy. So while you're thinking about what you're going to get for your best friend or what you're going to get for yourself, let's go on to the next slide. We're going to read through the dialogue. I'd like to go to the concert next week. Where can I get tickets? You can get them at the ticket office. How many should I get? Do you want to come with me? Let's get 3 tickets. I think Lisa wants to come too. Okay. In this dialogue, I'll read it through one more time and then I'll ask you some questions. I'd like to go to the concert next week. Where can I get tickets? You can get them at the ticket office. How many should I get? Do you want to come with me? Let's get 3 tickets. I think Lisa wants to come too. Okay, in this dialogue, there are 2 people talking. What are they talking about? What are they talking about getting and why? You would give them concert tickets. Well, it depends on the concert, Gaia. I mean, I don't know what kind of concert tickets you have. If it's a good concert, then I mean maybe I'll take the tickets and go. But if it's not a good concert, then maybe you won't be able to give them away. So what are these 2 people talking about? And why? What are they thinking about getting? And why do they want to get them? Are they talking about going to the supermarket? Are they talking about going shopping? What is it that they want to get? If we look at the first 2 lines of the dialogue, the first person says, I'd like to go to the concert next week. Where can I get tickets? So we see, Eric, focus. We're talking about concert tickets. So we see that these 2 people want to go to a concert. They're talking about getting tickets. Where can they get the tickets? Can they get the tickets online? Can they get the tickets by mail? Where can they get the concert tickets? Seeing that they want to go to this concert. Because actually the first person in the dialogue asks, where? Where can I get tickets? And where can you get tickets to this concert? Her friend answers, well, you can get them at the ticket office. Once upon a time, when we went to concerts, we went to a ticket office. We would wait online, and when the ticket office opened, they would sell the tickets, and you had to wait online. And usually, there was a limit to how many tickets you could buy. For example, you couldn't go to the ticket office and buy 100 tickets because that's what some people would do. They would buy many tickets and then they would turn around and sell them for a higher price. So I said, okay, there's a limit of 4 tickets a person, for example. So where you would go to the ticket office and you could only buy 4 tickets. At the ticket office, thank you very much, Leo. So the first person wants to go to a concert and asks, where can I get tickets? And the friend answers, you can get the tickets at the ticket office. At the end of this conversation, how many tickets do they get? How many tickets do they get? I would give away the ticket only. What's that, Gaia? You would give the ticket away. Why would you give your ticket away? So they want to go to a concert. They decide to get tickets at the ticket office, and they decide to get 3 tickets because Lisa, a third friend, is going with them. So they are going to get 3 tickets to go to the concert. Let's take the next slide. We want to create a role play about buying things. Remember to use get, some, any, and enough. Okay, we're down to the last 5 minutes of our focus. And so we're going to take this time to do a little bit of a review. We started our focus talking about doing the shopping. And we know that when you do the shopping, that's not the same as going shopping. What's the difference? You do the shopping and you go to the supermarket and you buy food, things you need to eat, or things you need for your daily life, like toothpaste or soap or toilet paper. That's doing the shopping, going to a supermarket. If you go shopping, then that's more like a free time activity. You're going shopping because you're going to buy clothes, you're going to buy shoes, maybe you're going to buy a new phone or a new TV. That's going shopping. The difference between doing the shopping and going shopping. Doing shopping is a supermarket. Going shopping is going to the shops for fun. That was the first part of our focus. Then we started asking questions and answering. And we realized that when we ask a question, we use any. Have you got any? Any is used in questions and negatives. Have you got any? No, I haven't got any. In positive answers, we use some. Have you got any? Yes, I've got some. Then we talked about enough. You can use enough with countable and uncountable nouns. Because in reviewing countable and uncountable, countable nouns, the question is, how many have you got? I've got 5. Uncountable, the question is, how much? How much have you got? I've got some. And with enough, we can use enough with countable or uncountable nouns. Have you got any? Yes, I've got some, but I haven't got enough, which means you have a quantity, but it's not what you need to do something. For example, I want to make a sandwich. I've got some bread, but I haven't got enough. As Andrea said, he wants to make pizza, but he hasn't got any yeast. There's an example of negative. And then we went over the word get, which we said at the beginning of our focus is a wonderful word because you can use get for almost anything. But in this focus, we're using get instead of buy. For example, I need to go to the supermarket because I need to buy some flour. Instead of buy, we can use get. I'm going to the supermarket because I need to get some flour. Get. Okay, here I am. Sorry about the interruption. You can also use get in questions. That's okay, Elena. I know you're very busy. Have a good afternoon, Elena. So you can use get in questions as well. For example, where can I get flour? You can get flour at the supermarket. So that's our review for our focus this morning. Our focus this morning for 5 was doing the shopping. And we know that doing the shopping is at the grocery store. For those of you who are interested, there's another level 4-5 focus tomorrow at 4 p.m. Okay, everyone have a wonderful afternoon and thank you for joining me. Bye, everyone. Have a good day, and I'll see you next time.